Hey everybody, welcome back to Row Country. Welcome if you are new. Today we are redoing this Hobby Lobby sign as part of the 25 Days of Christmas here in Row Country. Stay tuned. Okay guys, I'm super excited about today's video. I'm taking a sign that I picked up at Hobby Lobby on clearance for $1.59, but you can use a canvas from the Dollar Tree. You can also pick up these ornaments from Michael's or the Dollar Tree. I'm using glitter, Mod Podge. Guys, this is going to be so cute. I'm also using these paints and stains here are optional for you. And then, of course, a hot glue gun and some glue sticks and these pearls from the Dollar Tree. So this is like a 90% Dollar Tree DIY. Now, as I said, I did pick up that sign at Hobby Lobby on clearance, $1.59, and the frame seemed to match perfectly the inspiration piece. But I'm going to paint these elephant and ink. I'm going to mix those two together like I've been doing in many of my other DIYs. I'm really liking this very dark gray but not quite black background on some of my holiday DIYs that I've been doing, especially for Christmas and winter. So I just take a little bit of that chalk paint and I load up the brush, and then I drop a little more of the elephant inside. So I'm using ink again and also elephant to mix up a custom color. And I have taken just a little bit of painter's tape around the edge of the frame of the sign that is sort of off camera there to your right. I did that because I didn't really want to get any of this color onto the background for this sign. I really want to keep that look for that frame. Now, when you do see this frame in full frame here on the video, if you do not have a Hobby Lobby sign to redo, my recommendation would be to take one of the larger stretch canvases from the Dollar Tree, remove the canvas, and then you can use like the new carving set that the Dollar Tree is selling for $1. You get a 4-pack of different wood carving tips, or you could even use like a screwdriver to add some dimension to the frame that you take off of that canvas to really mimic the look of this frame itself. It's really just a lot of texture, so some scratching and indentations in it, and then just a little bit of stain, and a whitewash would really be able to create or recreate this look with a simple Dollar Tree canvas. So that's something to consider if you do not have this exact frame to work with. But I really lucked out. I had picked this up again, $1.59 on that Hobby Lobby 90% clearance. Really, I believe beginning of this year is when that was. And I set this aside, left it in my stash. And when I came across the inspiration piece for this video today, I knew that I had to go ahead and use it. So go ahead and paint your canvas or your sign, but make sure that you keep all of the paint off of the frame itself. And that's really what that's going to look like when it's done, just one nice coat. You'll want to set that aside and really let that dry. So now the next thing we're going to work on is the snowflake. This is really the piece that stands out the most on this DIY. And I'm actually using a snowflake that I picked up at Michael's, but the Dollar Tree does have wood ornaments, and they are in the snowflake shape, and they are actually a really nice detailed one as well. So I recommend, if you can pick them up there, to go ahead and do that. I'm bringing in matte apple barrel white paint. It's called Snow White, I believe. And then also I'm going to mix that with a little bit of Mod Podge. So I'm doing 2 steps in one on this ornament piece or this snowflake. Looking back, and I am going to come in with my hot glue and close up the hole on the ornament. My recommendation would just be go ahead and do that now. But as you'll see, I just sort of jumped into this next part. I put down some of that apple barrel paint, just a little bit, and I'm bringing in some Mod Podge, and I'm going to mix it together. What this is going to do is give me a painted finish, but I'm going to be putting some glitter right on top of this piece, so I don't have to wait for it to dry. This is just a time-saving step that I usually take when I know that I'm going to go for a fully glittered piece. Now, if I were going for a semi-glittered, meaning I would have painted this and then brought Mod Podge back and hit some of the edges of this piece, then I wouldn't do this in this manner. You know, I would paint it and let it dry and then come back with a Mod Podge. So if you are going to do a full glittered piece like I'm doing, go ahead and mix your Mod Podge in with your paint. It just saves you a little bit of time. So I'm just going to take this over top of the face of this snowflake, and then I'm going to come in with the glitter, and we're going to glam this baby up, guys. I don't know if you've watched any of my prior videos, especially last year's Christmas series. I love glitter in the, you know, for holidays, especially Christmas and winter. I just think it gives that icy look, and I absolutely love it. So I will be using glitter in this, but if this is not the way you want to go, you could definitely do this in a matte finish or a gloss white finish and get the same effect on this with this finished piece. So now that the hot glue has been added, I'm going to come back, let that set up just a little bit, you know, and then I'm going to hit it with the glue glitter or the glue paint mixture, and then I'm going to come back and really add the glitter to this piece to really elevate it to the next level. Now, as you can see, I really did lay that glitter on, and I did let it sit for a moment before I turned it on its side and really got rid of all the excess. And then I took the excess glitter and put it back inside this container. Guys, I've had this container for probably 3 years now. I forget, I think I paid like $1.40 something for it at Walmart, and it has lasted forever. So this is what our piece is looking like now, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of this tape. Now I do this just to check to be sure that I haven't missed any areas, and as I'm removing it, I do find that down in the corner I did miss a little bit. So it's still a little bit tacky. The paint is still a little tacky, not quite finished and dried. I'm just going to come back in with my paintbrush and that mixture of paint that I had, and I'm just going to fill in that little corner. You want to do this before you move on definitely to the next part of this DIY. Now once everything is finished, you're going to have that nice chalk paint finish to it, and that glittered ornament is really going to pop off the back of this. I think it's really, really pretty. One thing you could consider doing is maybe staining that to keep all of the stain and the frame colors the same. That might be a suggestion if the white snowflake is not for you. Now this is a Cricut project for me, guys, but I will have a printable in the description box for you. Just know that I changed the wording on my sign to say "Let It Snow" rather than what the Hobby Lobby sign said, and I did it in such a way that it looked like the wording does repeat, and in fact it does, but you'll see when we start to lay this down that, you know, parts of it are not the full saying "Let It Snow," and I did that on purpose. So I just took my time to remove this decal from the backing paper. I used the font The Skinny, which is free for personal use. I got that from dafont.com, and it does remind me of the Ray Dunn font a lot, so that's why I decided to use it. But it really is difficult sometimes to get those really skinny letters to release from the backing paper, especially when you have a larger decal. So this was a trial and error type of thing for me, but eventually I do get it off of the backing paper. So remember to check the description box down below for the free printable. Guys, I can only give you what I can give you. I can't make it specific size. You'll want to, you know, make it larger or smaller for the piece that you decide to go ahead and redo. But this is what it looks like, and that's what we're going to use to move on to the next part of this DIY. Now I made my decal in such a way that it would fit down inside of this frame. You know, hindsight being what it is, I probably would have trimmed this down just a teeny bit more because it was a little difficult to get it exactly straight. And it was also difficult to get the backing or the transfer tape to start to release this for me. So You guys, you know, I'm not a Cricut expert. This is one of those trial pieces for me. Overall, I'm extremely happy with how this turned out. But as you can see, you know, down at the bottom, some of the letters do come onto the frame. And, you know, hindsight being what it is, it really would not have affected the piece at all if I would have just trimmed it down a little bit more. Now, for you guys, if you don't have a Cricut and you don't get the SVG file that I'm going to share as well, you can use the Printable and you can use the transfer method. Maybe turn it, you know, print it out on paper, turn it over, use chalk to actually, you know, scribble on the back, and that'll make it really nice when you turn it over, lay it inside your frame, and then go ahead and trace over it with a pencil first, then come back with maybe a gel pen or a paint pen to get this, you know, look. But guys, this is really just one of these projects, you just take your time with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the transfer piece on this, and then we will go ahead and move on to the next step. And oh my gosh, you guys, there it is. I can't believe I pulled that off. And if you were able to see there at the bottom, some of the letters do come onto the frame. I do end up going back way later and just trimming those off with an X-Acto knife. But when I hold that snowflake over top of that, I am just ecstatic. I think it's turning out really, really cute. Now I'm going to take a little 12mm pearl that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. It has holes in it. I'm going to make sure that when I put this on the piece that the holes are going off to the side. When this piece is turned over, I don't want the hole to be showing in the middle. And I'm going to take some hot glue around the center of this snowflake just so that the pearl has something to hold on to. I'm taking my time with this part. I don't really want to get any of the hot glue strings throughout the center of this snowflake, and I want to make sure I get enough glue built up on both sides so that, or all the way around it actually, so that the pearl will fit. Now I did get a string of hot glue and I went ahead and removed it. And so now I'm just going to lay the pearl in place so that the holes again are going side to side and not up and down. I don't want to see that hole when I get this in position. Once I get that down, I am going to come back with a little bit more of the hot glue. You can see here that none of the holes are showing for the pearl, so that's exactly what I want. But I am going to turn it back over and put a little bit more hot glue around the pearl itself just to build it up to make sure that I have enough hot glue on it, and that's what that's going to look like from the back. But when we turn it over, oh my gosh, guys, I'm just literally ecstatic. I just love how this turned out. I'm going to just take some hot glue and apply it to that pearl again, and then we will find center on this sign. I'm going to just bring in a measuring tape and, you know, really eyeball the center on this as best as I can. Once I find that, I'm just going to use that hot glue again on the back of that pearl, drop it down into the center of that sign, and that's actually going to finish it off. And oh my gosh, you guys, I am in love with this piece. Okay guys, here's a rolling look at what mine looks like. Just a reminder, this is the Hobby Lobby piece. It said, baby, it's cold outside. It was $20, and this came in at under $5. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is my Hobby Lobby Christmas sign dupe for 2020. I really hope that you liked today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so by clicking that button down below. And while you're here, go ahead and watch another video. I have another Christmas video coming soon. I will see you in my next one. Until then, bye!